viral video, whatever. Okay, now the participants in my study, two groups of freshman students, all females. They were enrolled in Reading 1. They were in their first semester in college, at the College of Language and Translation. They were all studying to become translators. So they were enrolled in a reading class, and at the same time they were taking listening, speaking, reading, vocabulary, and grammar courses, different ones, altogether 20 hours, and reading 4 hours a week. And the control group was exposed only to the textbook, and they did paper activities on paper, like handouts, but the experimental group worked with the blog. Okay, what I did here, because I had a large class, so what I did, I divided the students into small groups of 4. So if you have 40 and you divide them into small groups of 4, you will have like 10 groups. So it's easier to read 10 topics than 40 topics for you as a teacher, because you have to read everything the students write, otherwise they will not work. Saudi students, if you don't push them, if you don't read and they feel you know what they are doing, you don't encourage them, you don't give them grades, they don't work. Yes, so I usually assign students randomly, otherwise friends will cling together. They will be in one group, and those who are not friends with anybody will be left out. So it's better to, because part of like studying in a classroom is to socialize, to get to know other classmates. So I used to put them in small groups, and then for each activity, I would change the members of the groups, reassign them randomly. Okay, so the students, they were required to look for videos online or photos related to an assigned event. And they were supposed to write a paragraph in their own words about the topic. I will show you examples of the topics. Or summarize, if they read an article or they watch a movie, they have to summarize the content and then post it in the blog. Also, they had to write their own opinion, their reaction to the event. The other members, of course, they read because it's public. All the students can see those paragraphs or topics. So other students can react or comment or ask questions about each other's topic. I also used to comment, behave like a student and comment on the paragraphs or the blogs. Yeah, I used to set a deadline, like I would tell them, okay, by the end of this week, or like I would give them 1 week, 10 days to look for a video, for a picture, to read something, and prepare the topic together, the entry. Of course, they have to post an entry. Also, I would post for them study skills and self-improvement tips and websites that would help them. Because when they come to college, they come from high school, they need encouragement, they need to be shown how to search, how to do this, how to do that, because they don't know. Also, I used to post reading links for them. Now, each group would search the internet. I would sometimes even suggest sources for the topics where they can find material or information about, let's say, Ramadan. Whatever they had to write, I didn't require long essays, only like a page, maximum of a page, because they are still freshmen. And they had to cite, they had to write the source of information. Okay, so I would, of course, give instructions. For example, I would say to them, go to Google, enter Ramadan, and I show them how to search, give them the keywords that they can use as search terms in Google. And so I would say enter Ramadan and Islamic countries and find websites, for example. I would give them this link. It has lots of sublinks. And give it a title. Each country should start a new topic, because some students, for example, talked about Ramadan in Egypt, others Ramadan in Lebanon or Morocco or Indonesia or Malaysia. Also post a picture, post a video, and then post the paragraph. Now, how do we select global topics? Now, the characteristics or criteria for selecting global topics, they should be current, what's going on around the students, things that they watch on TV, also related to their culture, their region. They should be familiar, and also concrete, specific. I also I divided the broad topics like Ramadan. This is a broad topic. But if, to narrow it down, we would say Ramadan in Saudi Arabia or in Kazakhstan or in Malaysia or in Thailand, like this. And students should relate. The topic should be interesting to the students. Of course, everybody loves Ramadan. In all countries, it's fun, it's something nice. Okay, now sample topics, Ramadan in Islamic countries. Elections, like this year, the United States had elections, so they can write about that, what they think of the elections. Refugees, because nowadays there are lots of refugees from Syria going to Europe, and some die in the Mediterranean because they go on like small boats, but they just squeeze them, maybe 100 in a small boat, and they drown in the water. Terrorism, it's a phenomenon these days. Revolution in Arab countries, in Syria, in Libya, in Yemen, in all of those countries. Droughts and famines in Somalia, in South Sudan. This is very current. You see people starving, no water, no food, nothing. Maybe here in Kazakhstan, because it's far, maybe you don't watch those things on TV. But in Saudi, I mean, in Arab countries, we see these things every day. The Palestinian-Israeli conflict, or for example, the war in Gaza. So they see these on TV every day. So these are just examples of current global topics. Of course, you can, if you want to use the same activity in Kazakhstan, you can use things related to your country. But I don't know. Maybe they can write about the expo, for example. They can go visit the expo if they can, and then just tell you what they saw, how they feel, if they bought something, and so on. Okay, so for example, these are examples of the sub-entries that the students wrote about. One group wrote about Ramadan in Egypt, Ramadan in Pakistan, in Indonesia, Malaysia, Morocco, Lebanon. And here I would help them by giving them things to focus on, like the topic should tell how Ramadan is celebrated in that country, in Egypt, Pakistan, Morocco, whatever, what people eat, what they do in Ramadan. And this is another example. For example, one semester there was that tsunami in Japan and in Malaysia. And so that general topic was natural disasters, and the students could talk about any kind of natural disaster, like tsunami, hurricanes. We heard about Hurricane Katrina and those that happen in the States, volcanoes, earthquakes, once it happened in Iran or in some other country, floods, droughts, famines, and like those topics, I would just help them and tell them what their paragraph or entry should contain, like the definition, what happened, when, where, and the results of the disaster, and then their feelings, their reaction to the disaster. Now, my role as an instructor, of course, I don't just assign the topic and sit and relax, no. I serve as a facilitator. It means I help the students. I provided technical support if they didn't know how to use the blog. Some are better than others in using technology, so I would help them with that. If they had a problem in formatting, in uploading pictures or files, I would also help them. I would help also with the questions. I would respond to their reading problems and encourage them to interact and give comments. I would also moderate the discussion among the students. I would also make comments and react to what they say, encourage them. No matter what they write, I would say it's good. And one important thing, do not pick on the students' mistakes. Even if there are mistakes, because if you do that, you will scare them, they will not write at all. They will be scared, especially because it's public and all the students read it. It's not private like when you give an essay and you ask them to write it at home, they bring it to you, nobody knows what mistakes they made. But this is public, all of them, they see each other's work. So do not pick on their grammar, on their spelling, if they have grammatical mistakes, spelling mistakes. Okay, now the effect of this activity on reading and writing. I found out when I compared, I always give a pre-test at the beginning of the semester, and the final exam is the post-test. So when I compared pre-test, post-test for the experimental and the control group, I found out that the experimental group was better, made more, significant development or improvement in their reading and writing skills. The activity was effective in raising students' awareness also of current global events, and they enhanced their reading and writing skills. I gave them also a questionnaire. So they said they had positive attitudes and they liked the activity. And when you use a blog, you use a discussion forum, you use technology, they don't feel they are working. I mean, they are writing, that it's a chore. It's like when they write on Facebook. They write everything, poetry, whatever they want. They don't feel it's a chore. It's not like when you give a paper assignment. So the activities, those activities are student-centered. They are from real life. They are of interest to the students, and they encourage the students to express themselves, express their own opinions. They were active, of course. They don't just sit and watch the teacher and look like this and listen in the classroom. They are the ones who do the work. Of course, they said the instructions were clear. They helped them understand and know what to do. They felt the blog environment was secure for making mistakes, because I did not. They would come to my office and ask me and say, please show me my mistakes. And I say, no, not important, not now, later. So I do not pick on their mistakes. Also, when they are online, they encourage each other, they say nice things to each other, and me, I do the same thing. no matter what they write, I never yell at them or punish them or nothing. I always say to them, oh, this is good, but I use different levels of encouragements. Like this is good, and this is excellent, and this is super, like this. So these show varying degrees of like quality. But even the poorest, I would say good. Oh, this is a good try. Also, both reading and even listening, several skills are integrated, either reading and writing, because in all of them they read. If they watch a video, then listening and writing are integrated. Okay, my recommendations, this is the last page. Break the global topic into smaller ones, specific ones. And teacher's guidance is very important. You should be with the students, listen to them, answer to their problems, help them with the problems, and also, especially if they don't know how to post something, how to delete it, how to change it. Infrastructure and administrative, you don't need to take permission from the department head or the dean or the president of the university in order to use an activity like this. Because the students, you are not using it in the classroom. The students are working on it at home. In the classroom, you work with the book. So you don't need permission, written permission, because if you want to get permission, then the semester will be over. It will take, in my country, it's like that. It will take 3 months. So why waste time? I never took permission from anybody. I take my own permission. If I decide to do something, I do it. I don't care about the dean and the department head, and I never get permission. From home, you use whatever you want. It's none of anybody's business. Okay, so teachers can be trained and showed how to search for and use online material, exercises as a supplement to in-class instruction. Students can also suggest topics. It doesn't mean that it's a one-way thing from teacher to student. No, they can also suggest, oh, we would like to write about this or discuss this. Okay, so teachers also, if, for example, another teacher is interested in the same activity, we can share the topics. Keep posts short. Don't write too little or too much. As students write as often as possible. Make content easy and simple. Blogging takes time and effort, of course, so give them at least a week to work on the topic. They should also not copy, because sometimes they copy and paste. So they should know that this is plagiarism, and they have to, okay. And good blog design is a must. Now this is an example of a tsunami in Japan. So the pictures, and then they wrote this because they summarized it here, and the source is at the bottom. Sorry, it's very small. I even tried to enlarge it by cropping the rest of the page to make it big. And this is like Ramadan, types of food. The other one, maybe you have it, I don't know. It's like a kind of dessert. And then this is stuffed zucchini, and the decorations, and the prayer. And this one is about Ramadan in Egypt. So this is part of the essay.
Sorry.
A horrible crime in Jerusalem. Yes, okay, this is the last one. Horrible crime in Jerusalem. So this is an Israeli soldier, and he arrested a child, and they wrote about it. And Hurricane Katrina, tsunami. Okay, I have many, of course, examples, but because of time, I can't show too many. Or read, so that you see the quality of the students' writing. My students write poetry when they are freshmen. Yeah, English poetry.
Thank you very much for your
May I ask,
presentation.
do you have any questions?
Yeah, I have.
May I?
Yeah.
So the main problem for me, I think, will be To motivate my students, because they sometimes they
motivate
don't,
them?
yeah, because sometimes they don't even try to do something at
Yes.
home like this.
Yes,
So
even my students.
what
You have to push them.
But we don't
You
have
have to tell them
grades.
about it in class, and nowadays students, they they sleep with the mobile in their hand, and so they are technology is part of their life. So if they can blog using their mobile, they don't need to use the computer. So you tell them about it, you tell them the purpose, why, and then you say, okay, let's go, and you give them like the address of the website, and you post an example for them. And you say welcome, and first have them introduce themselves. You have to do some warm-up at the beginning, and then tell them, okay, we're gonna select an easy activity. What would you like? You can ask them for the first assignment or the first activity. What would you like to write about? Which topic? And then, okay, let's do this together. And then divide it into groups of 4 or 5. And then they work together. But you have to encourage them. And okay, give them like 2 marks for doing, and they will die for the 2 marks. So you just give them, and then also students feel jealous of each other. If one group is very good, the others will try to imitate the good group. But you have to push them all the way through, because my students are like that. If you just leave them to work on their own, they won't do anything. If you don't give them grades, they don't work.
But what if we don't have grades at our school?
I don't know. you don't give marks
Yeah,
at
it's
all.
like English courses, like it's a private English school.
But do you give exams?
Yeah, it's a final exam. After.
Okay, then tell them. Okay, I will be asking you about these things. Put just a couple of questions on the final. 1 question or 2. Because if they know what they are doing in class will be on the final, they will be tested on those things, they will take them seriously.
Or maybe you can use them in the class, no?
It's too time consuming, I think.
Maybe just start at the beginning and then the end they will finish at home.
And sometimes students are very different, and you told don't correct them, their mistakes.
Yes.
But they can reply with correcting each other. So sometimes
Yes.
they can be rude and...
No. In my experience, when they are online, my students, I'm talking about, and I've been using technology since the year 2000, 17 years. They were never rude. They don't attack each other. It's not like when they are on Facebook or Twitter. When they know this is class and the teacher is there, they are very polite. They behave themselves. It's not on Twitter. They can be rude. They can be anything. Or Facebook or any other like social media. In like an online course, online discussion forum, especially if it's with their teacher, they behave themselves. They are very polite and they say nice things to each other. And poor ones learn from the good ones. Of course, in my case, my students have different abilities in writing in English. Some are excellent, write poetry. Even the poor ones who cannot put 2 words together, they try to write something, even if it's full of mistakes. But they feel, I'm doing something. And they improve. What I do, I correct them indirectly. When in my comments or when I post my own paragraph, I use the same phrase, the same sense, but with the correct structure. And they see, they improve. But if you pick, it's tedious for you as a teacher if you want to correct every single mistake. And also, it will be frustrating for them. They won't write. But even me, they would come to my office, please show me my mistakes, because they are used to it. Even like in Arabic, in the native language, maybe in Kazakh, when they are in junior high, they are used to the teacher correcting their mistakes, even in Kazakh composition. And same thing, Arabic composition. They are used to this. They want to know the mistake. But still, like Paul said, even if you show them the mistakes, they will not correct them automatically. But if you just leave them, or if you want to correct only one kind of mistake. Let's say use of past tense only, or use of article only, but not all kinds of mistakes. So focus just on one type of mistake, and they improve. At the end of the semester, I've written papers on those. I have lots of published papers about my experience. You're welcome. Even about two, about creative writing. I wrote an article about my students. When they wrote poetry, it was not on my mind. I did not even expect it as a teacher. And then all of a sudden they did it. One excellent student, she said, "Can we post anything? I said, yes. So she posted a poem. And my God, I was teaching 5 sections that semester, 300 students. And it was one of the best semesters in my whole life. I mean, the students were gorgeous. They were amazing. Because of that girl, when she posted her poems, her English was even better than graduate students. And the other ones, even the poor ones, they were imitating her. Yeah, I compiled them in a book. If you want, I can give you the address on ResearchGate or Academia, and you will find them. I put all not all, just a sample of my students' work, poems, stories, like this, the creative ones, in an anthology, like a small book. And it's on Academia or ResearchGate. So I can give you my card, and but you have to register in Academia or ResearchGate to be able to enter. Okay, any other questions?
I have a question in terms of the plagiarism. How do you check them? Do you have the Turnitin, or you just do it on your own?
Well, I'm smart. I can find out if it's theirs or not. Don't
Yeah,
worry about me.
it's very difficult to check.
Yeah, they have to. They have to cite. I can tell that this is not their style, it's not their language, it's not their, like the type of information or ideas included, not their level. Of course, you feel that this is above their level. Any other?
How much time do you give to do it?
It's open time, like for each activity, sometimes 2 weeks or 3 weeks. We would do 6, 7 activities of those per semester. The semester is 4 months.
It's for grade, yes? For mark?
I give extra credit for this. The mark would be on what we do in class. Because we have restrictions by the department. So whatever you want, you just give extra credit. Or 5 marks out of like classwork, you can allocate to this activity.
Is it done by one student or like by a group of students?
Group. Sometimes I would have 60, 50, 70, like this.
Doing one project, one work,
Yes,
the same.
but that's why I divided into small groups, like
So
4,
small.
5, 6 together, so that when they write a topic, I have only 10 topics, or 12, not 70, 60. And they work together, and the group would be, when I assign them, it would be a random assignment. So each group would consist of good, average, poor, but they work together. And they decide what they want to include and...
Do they complain about their mark?
No.
No? No comments.
Because, I show them, I tell them, I have like criteria, that shows like how much they get on what. If you do this, then you get this. And when I give marks, I count, like how many entries, how many topics, how many, I don't know what, like this. I go by number, not by quality.
So you show their mistakes after the training project, yes? Not while?
I don't, no mistakes.
No mistakes?
No,
Never.
not here. Mistakes not here. Because it's a reading course, and but still, even in writing, when I teach writing and they write something, I focus on one kind of mistake, not like I take their essays home and mark every single mistake. I did this the first semester. when I joined college, I was young and I was new, and it was the first time for me to teach writing, and it was just a waste of time for me. I used to stay up until 2 o'clock in the morning to mark those. And the students, of course, they make all kinds of mistakes and they cannot conceptualize or store correct answers here. So it's better just to focus on one. You tell them, okay, they check their essays themselves.